Channel 29, KBAK-TV, Bakersfield.
You're watching KBFX Fox 58.
From KBAK-TV, here's a News 29 News Brief.
I'm Jerry Fiala. Coming up on Night Beat, hundreds kneel in prayer tonight in Delano, remembering two young girls killed when hit by a car earlier this week. And drug agents round up those accused of drug dealing at Foothill High. Tonight, 5 students are under arrest. We'll have more about this undercover operation. And Steve Schill has the latest on the weather.
Looks like a treat rather than a trick in terms of the forecast. 66 today, a little cool, but the cloud cover moving to the east. It'll allow high pressure to build in over the valley. We're looking at a sunny day. The expected high about 72 degrees. Jerry?
Also coming up, our special series, Misery on the Menu. Join us on Night Beat at 11 o'clock.
From KBAK-TV, here's a News 29 News Brief.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Fiala. A rash of highway shootings continues in Kern County tonight. The windows were shot out of a car on Highway 58 near Tehachapi this evening. In Bakersfield early this morning, authorities say a gunman took pot shots at 3 cars. Immigration officials are working overtime tonight. The office extended its hours to handle the load of illegal aliens applying for amnesty. Nightside reporter Jerry Jenkins takes us to the local immigration office for a look at the night's activity. And in the Persian Gulf tonight, bad weather is adding to an already risky trip for the latest U.S. convoy. 3 more American minesweepers have started a long journey into the Gulf. For these stories and more, join us on Night Beat at 11.
Channel 29, KBAK-TV, Bakersfield. Now, the Southern Valley's news leader. This is News 29 at 11 with Rick Fletcher, Greg Kerr on sports, and Jeff Kelly with your wake-up forecast. Now, News 29 at 11.
Good evening. A plane hits the beach near Los Angeles. A mother tries to smother her baby only to be caught on videotape.
You're watching the Southern Valley's #1 station for news and information. KBAK-TV, Bakersfield. This is Channel 29 Eyewitness News with Jerry May, Charlotte Stark, Don Carley on sports, and the entire Eyewitness News team. Now, Channel 29 Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. Charlotte Stark is a bit under the weather tonight.
Channel 29, KBAK-TV, Bakersfield. Live from Bakersfield and throughout the Southern Valley, this is Eyewitness News at 11 with Don Clark, Jackie Parks, Greg Kerr, Gary Butterworth, and the entire Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening at 11 tonight. ABC.
This is Fox News at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Meyer.
And I'm Ralph Bailey, topping our news at 10. Well, at least some of the waiting and wondering is over for family and friends of a missing trio from Oildale.
Broadcasting live for Bakersfield and all the Southern Valley. This is Fox 58 News at 10. You're watching Fox 58. Don Clark, Lisa Kirsch. This is Fox 58 News at 10. Live, local, late breaking. CBS 29 Eyewitness News at 5 begins right now. Local, late breaking. CBS 29 Eyewitness News at 6:30 begins right now. Live, local, late breaking. You're watching CBS 29. Rusty Shue, Lisa Kirsch, meteorologist Chris Kuiper, and Greg Kerr on sports. This is CBS 29 Eyewitness News at 11. Now, we're tracking the weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Kuiper. From 29, the Eyewitness News Station. Live. 29 Eyewitness News at 5. starts right now. From 29, the Eyewitness News Station. Live. 29 Eyewitness News at 11 starts right now.
Meth bust in Kern County, but what progress is being made to keep the drugs out of the valley?
Plus, a mountain lion attacks 2 Californians tonight, killing 1, and now officials have killed the animal.
And where will the homeless go now that International Square is demolished? Find out next on 29 Eyewitness News at 11.
From 29, the Eyewitness News Station. Live. 29 Eyewitness News at 11 starts right now.
5 pounds of methamphetamine are seized in the latest raid by Kern County Sheriff's detectives. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Monica Dean.
And I'm John Clark, and 2 young men from Delano are behind bars tonight, busted.
You're watching 29 Eyewitness News. Don Clark, Monica Dean. Sports with Greg Kerr. And weather with meteorologist Miles Musio. 29 Eyewitness News at 11. Broadcasting live in high definition. This is Eyewitness News at 10 on KBFX Fox 58.
Joining us tonight, I'm Courtney Bryant.
And I'm Tucker. Yeah, right on all those, right there.
I just repainted it.
Oh. A wildfire continues to rage out of control near Wofford Heights, threatening homes and forcing mandatory evacuations.
A viewer sent in this video, that you were just watching there of the Way wildfire. It started at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it's grown to at least 1,200 acres at this hour.
Again, the fire burning in the... President Obama speaks on the situation in Ferguson as protesters continue to take to the streets. His plans to help those communities in need.
A rally breaks out in Ferguson and takes a violent turn. How one woman was immediately put into harm's way.
And plastic bags may be returning to a store near you. How residents are challenging a law banning them and how you can help.
The Eyewitness News 7 at 11 on KBAK starts now.
Night 2 of protests in Ferguson, Missouri, with hundreds taking to the streets.
So far, the demonstrations have been much calmer as opposed to the fires and looting of last night. Here is a live look out at Oakland, where hundreds continue to gather into the night. As you can see, protests continuing. The situation in Ferguson now, hundreds of National Guardsmen are patrolling that city after they were sent in earlier today. The protesters are upset after Officer Darren Wilson was not charged with a crime by a grand jury. Outside the...
Right now, 4:30 this morning, renewed calls for political action by Capitol Hill following 2 deadly mass shootings over the weekend.
Remembering Ridgecrest, the ends left untied as residents continue to rebuild. Eyewitness News Mornings at 4:30 starts now.
Live from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News Mornings.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. Welcome into Eyewitness News Mornings. I'm Sarah Shahayeb.
I'm Allie Triolo in for Aaron Perlman. He is hiking, so Jeff Platt stands in for that forecast. Jeff, I don't know if I want to be hiking today. It's pretty hot out there.
Yeah, it's going to be in the triple digits probably for the next few days.
The tense search for missing crew members on an overturned cargo ship is over. Rescue teams now race against the clock to get them out of a sideways hole.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at noon.
Welcome into Eyewitness News. I'm Allie Triolo. We start with breaking news. Rescuers have made contact with 4 crew members.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into Eyewitness News at 12:30. I'm Tom Murphy.
And I'm Hannah Baton. New this hour, Attorney General Jeff Sessions was at the U.S.-Mexico border today. Sessions outlined a series of changes that he says will mark a new era in border control. Sessions says he wants to rid American cities and the border of drug cartels and unlawfulness. He laid out
The U.S. Census Bureau reports household income growth in Kern County. What has local economists surprised?
A man is recovering in the hospital after being pulled from a canal in downtown Bakersfield. How firefighters got him back on dry land.
3 California high school football players arrested in a hazing incident. How that situation is taking an emotional toll on a small farming town.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield. This is a special edition of Eyewitness News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. New data shows that families are earning more money these days, and local residents are seeing that same trend.
Eyewitness News reporter Hannah Battah tells us what the newest census report reveals about the state of the economy.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield. This is Eyewitness News at 6.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is joining the growing number of local law enforcement agencies, adding "In God We Trust" decals to their cars.
But as Tim Johns is here to explain, the KCSO is taking a different approach than many of their peers. Tim?
Davis Sheriff Donnie Youngblood says he supports the decals going on deputies' cars, but he's left the choice up to the individual officers as to whether or not they want to do it. Over the past several weeks, a growing number.
There are now new rules the governor says counties must follow to reopen. Does Kern County meet the new guidelines?
And one college student is making masks for the deaf community. Now the requests are pouring in.
And there are new Title IX rules. They're aimed to strengthen due process for students accused of sexual misconduct.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield. This is the Eyewitness News 7 at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Emily Irwin.
And I'm Jeff Platt. Counties can reopen faster than the state of California, but only if they meet the governor's requirements. While the new local variance policy does make it possible for counties to move forward, hitting the benchmarks is no easy task.
Guidelines to move into what we refer to as phase 2.
It's time for phase.
Some of the loopholes that we have seen since some of the decriminalization of our laws.
Reforming reform. Kern County is backing a new 2020 initiative that's giving California voters the chance to change criminal justice laws.
And getting rid of squatters. Well, there's an app for that. The reason some people think it won't work.
And the Fox Theater honoring the memory of David Marcus. I'll tell you about the star-studded tribute.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Platt.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. The District Attorney's Office and the Mayor's Office are taking a tough stance on crime after announcing their support for initiatives set to be on the 2020 ballot. It is looking to make 3 changes. The first is create tougher laws. A porch thief strikes in a local neighborhood more than once. Now, homeowners are on high alert.
Hundreds of body cameras and a homeless shelter. Lawmakers are set to vote on proposals that could affect your neighborhood.
To stop the far left, you must vote in tomorrow's special election.
President Trump is in North Carolina tonight, where he makes a strong push to win back the House.
Live in high definition from Fox 58 in Bakersfield. This is Eyewitness News at 10.
In 2018, postal inspectors arrested almost 2,500 suspects for stealing mail and packages. Here in Kern County, a neighborhood is concerned with the number of package thefts they've honoring her legacy. What will come of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat with just 44 days until the election. Also, wildfires continue to force people out of their homes, the one making history tonight in LA County.
Live in high definition from KBAK-TV in Bakersfield. This is Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Dave Gonzalez. From coast to coast this weekend, we've seen dozens of vigils to honor the life of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She passed away on Friday. From handmade cardboard signs to a sea of flowers to candlelight vigils.
Now 4:30, it's the last full week until Election Day, and polls show the presidential race tightening. Details on who's leading, plus a possible confirmation vote today on a new Supreme Court justice.
And PG&E is shutting off power to some Californians. Our very own Fiona Dager has details on who's affected. Eyewitness News Mornings at 4:30 starts now.
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News Mornings.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. Welcome into Eyewitness News Mornings. I'm Sarah Shahayev.
And I'm Tyra Majors in for Aaron Perlman. How's it going today, Sarah?
It's going great. What about you?
Going great. We have a great new look
We
here.
do.
Just want to
I
acknowledge that, and it looks
love
awesome.
And also new today, we have Aaron Roney in for Aaron Perlman. Thanks.
Live from Fox 58 in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News Morning.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. Welcome into Eyewitness News Mornings here on Fox 58. I'm Sarah Shahayev.
And I'm Tyra Majors in for Aaron Perlman. We're going to kick things off with sentenced to life in prison. Justice is served for the death of a 3-month-old baby. And red flag warnings are issued across the state. Why officials say to brace for a possible blackout when Eyewitness News at noon starts in 1 minute. The people could be left in the dark. We'll tell you why you may be one of them when Eyewitness News at noon starts now.
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyra Majors. We start with a man being sentenced 15 years to life in prison for the death of his 3.
Live from Fox 58 in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at 12:30.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyra Majors. 31-year-old Eddie Leyva was convicted.
Help a new Southern California wildfire explode in size in just hours.
Plus, a look at the next big step for the Hard Rock Hotel project planned for Kern County.
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. You are, in just a moment, there it is, you are looking live now at the Senate floor where Republicans in the...
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
Powerful winds across California prompting power to be cut off to thousands of people today. That didn't stop multiple wildfires from sparking. How long the wind event will last.
And Amy Coney Barrett officially joins the highest court in the land. Tonight, she is sworn in at the White House. What's next on the agenda for the newest Justice of the United States?
And the quest for a 7th World Series title could be satisfied soon for the Dodgers. Bakersfield fans share their excitement counting down to Game 6.
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is the Eyewitness News 7 at 11.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. Judge Amy Coney Barrett is joining the highest court in the land. Now at 10 o'clock, a chaotic situation in a quiet northeast Bakersfield neighborhood. The details we're now learning after a man ran through a neighborhood with a rifle firing at police and residents.
And the Louisiana coast battered with yet another hurricane as Zeta rolls through the region as a powerful storm. We're in New Orleans with the very latest.
And it feels like the first day of school all over again in Kern County. We speak to students who returned to class for the first time since March. Eyewitness News at 10 starts now.
Live from Fox 58 in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at 10, Kern County's most watched late newscast.
And first at 10, new information tonight on an active shooter situation earlier today. A gunman now in custody in critical condition after firing his rifle at officers and people in a northeast Bakersfield neighborhood. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. Elizabeth Christian is live right now on Noble Street near Washington Middle School, where an afternoon of chaos ended with an arrest.
Both campaigns sprinting across battleground states in a last-minute pitch to voters before Election Day. Plus, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and health experts are worried the surge in COVID-19 cases is going to get a lot worse.
Live from KBAK-CBS in Bakersfield, this is Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Johns. We're now in the home stretch of the 2020 election. Ballots are due in just 2 days. Pre-election voting has now surpassed 2/3 of all ballots cast during the 2016 presidential election, and more than 92 million Americans have voted so far. Right here in California, more than 10.6 million ballots have already been returned. The two campaigns sending very different messages, and taking very different approaches in the campaign.
You're with CBS 29, KBAK-TV Bakersfield.
Closer to the action, you'd have to wear a badge. It's a full hour of cops every weekday at noon on KBFX Fox 58.